Hey, what's up guys, Steven here and welcome back to another video, and today we're taking a closer look at the brand new released HUAWEI Watch Ultimate. And the name is programmed here. This is the Ultimate Outdoor Watch. Huawei's new smartwatch comes with outstanding build quality, great battery life and an unbeatable design. Huawei said that the Watch Ultimate can submerge up to 100 meters underwater, which is just unbelievable. When Apple launched the Apple Watch Ultra, Apple said it can be used for dives up to 40 meters maximum. This innovation was everywhere in the news, but Huawei's new watch can go over 2 times deeper. It can also last 24 hours underwater according to Huawei, because it comes with 16 water-resistant structures to help it withstand deep-sea pressure. The Huawei Watch Ultimate features a 1.5-inch LTPO AMOLED display with dynamic refresh rate from 1 Hz to 60 Hz. And it features a battery size of 530 mAh, which can give you up to 14 days per charge. The Huawei Watch Ultimate comes also with QI wireless charging, and when using the charger that came with the watch, it can charge from 0 to 100% within 60 minutes. The smartwatch also comes with the usual sensors such as blood oxygen, heart rate, stress measurement and ECG measurement, combined in the Huawei TrueScene 5.0 Plus industry-leading sensor. Another feature worth mentioning is the Expedition mode. This is something new and it was designed for those who love to go on outdoor adventures and explore. It uses dual frequency 5-system GNSS positioning technology to provide accurate mapping. So if you find yourself exploring the wilderness, you can set waypoints which can help you to find your way around. So plenty of mind-blowing features, but how does this watch feel and perform in real life? Let's have a closer look. Well guys, it's now time for the hands-on experience, and we have here both versions of the Huawei Watch Ultimate. On the right side here, the steel color version with this beautiful blue ceramic bezel, and for me personally this is the most beautiful smartwatch I've seen so far. And here we have the Huawei Watch Ultimate in the black version. It's also a really beautiful watch, but personally I'm really sold to this one here. Alright, so first of all, before we have a closer look at the watches, let's check out what we can find inside of the box. We'll use this box here to show you what you can expect when you get the watch. Now first of all, the watch is in here, and in there you will also find some of the accessories. So let's open this up. This here looks like strap material, and there we go. Alright, and we have here the titanium strap already attached to the watch, but just in case you really want to go outside, use this watch outdoors, then of course you can also change the strap, and as you can see it comes also with a beautiful dark blue rubber strap, and here also the second part of it. So just in case, if you don't like the metal strap, if you want to change it because you're outdoors for a longer time, then you can simply do that. And also with this strap it's a little bit difficult to use a wireless charger that is flat. So if you prefer wireless charging your smartwatch, it also really makes sense to change to the rubber strap. Other than that, there's also the charger included. And as I've told you, the Huawei Watch Ultimate in both versions supports wireless charging. But just in case, if you don't have a wireless charger, if you want to use the included charger, you can just simply do that. It's also inside of the box. But it's really convenient for me that it supports wireless charging, because countless of times I lost the charger, and then it really makes sense to have wireless charging on board, so you can charge your watch just in case if you lose the charger or if you forget it at home on a longer trip. And of course there is also a strap extension included inside of the box of the black Huawei Watch Ultimate, but there's no additional strap as the rubber strap is already attached to the watch. However, if you buy the stainless steel color version, as you can see it comes here with the rubber strap, so the short version, and if that one here is not large enough, you always have the extension, which is quite huge. So this is one size fits all. And now let's have a closer look at the design. Now let's talk a little bit about the design and also the materials used. Now Huawei does not only put a lot of effort into designing the smartwatches, but also in choosing really high quality materials. That's why the Huawei Watch Ultimate Ultimate is made out of a premium zirconium-based liquid metal. It's a material with impressive strength to weight ratio, and it's typically found in high-end luxury and expensive traditional watches. Now, unlike most metals and materials used for smartwatches, now zirconium-based liquid metal does not deform easily under heating conditions. And if you have the watch in your hands, you really feel and see the difference to stainless steel. And zirconium alloy was also used in nuclear reactors, aerospace vessels. So it's basically a material that is really high-end. It's 2.5 times harder, 4.5 times stronger, and 17.4% more lightweight than stainless steel. So that means this material is not only very durable, it's also really scratch resistant. So you can just take a knife and try to scratch the body of the watch, but as this is zirconium alloy, it's very hard and it has a pretty good strength, so you will not see any scratches on it unless you just take a diamond cutter and apply a lot of force. The same goes for the ceramic bezel, so also here you can just scratch over it, paint will not come off. Now this is really durable, and especially for being an adventurous outdoors watch, it's really important. Just imagine you are mountain biking and there's some stones thrown at the watch. Also, I've used the black version for already 2 weeks. I bumped it many times into door frames or walls, but there's not a single scratch on the watch, so this is really high-end materials. The same also goes for the glass. This is sapphire glass. That also means you can try to scratch it with a knife, you can even hit it. It is very hard and it's very scratch resistant. So the materials used in this watch are really premium. Even the titanium strap, if you just try to scratch that, it is very hard to get scratches. You maybe just see something if you wipe over it, it's actually gone. So regarding the materials, I'm super excited. But guys, it doesn't stop here. Also regarding the screen, we have a 1.5-inch LTPO AMOLED screen with 466 × 466 pixels. Now, this smartwatch has a very slim but yet flexible AMOLED panel with a glass cover made out of sapphire glass, which is also fully laminated and also wear resistant. But why is this actually important? Now, both watches have a 10 ATM rating and are waterproof up to 100 meters, so it's basically also designed for people who like to go diving. And this screen makes sure that even if you're diving underwater or you're in very dark, low-lit areas, the LTPO AMOLED display ensures that the screen will always be visible to you. And that is really important if you're tracking your diving process. You don't want to do any mistake because you cannot see the screen and you cannot see, for instance, how long you should stay in order to decompress or whatever. So this is a really important thing, that you have a good quality screen in your diving smartwatch. Well guys, it's now time to have a closer look at the user interface. And first of all, I want to get started with the always on display, because so many people asked about that in the last watch reviews. Even with the always on display, you can get crazy battery life. So it's really amazing how Huawei manages that even with the always on display and animated watch faces, that you can get that amazing battery life out of it. Now, the always on display looks different depending on the watch face you have. And I have here some special watch faces. So by default, it already comes with really beautiful watch faces, like for instance this one here. It matches really nice here with the blue ceramic bezel. But if you want to customize your watch even further, you can actually go to the Huawei Health application, and in there you will find different watch faces to customize your smartwatch. And what I can really recommend is there are some special watch faces made for the HUAWEI Watch Ultimate. It's called the Sense Explorer series, and the blue one here is the one I'm using right now, and it looks so beautiful on the watch, so totally animated. Also, I bought the Wild Explorer, which was now on sale, super cheap, and it's such a beautiful watch face. You just need to check it out. And in order to change it, you just tap and hold, and then you can just switch to a new watch face. For instance, here's the Wild Explorer one, and if you then turn off the screen, as you can see, the always on display will look different depending on the watch face. So it's very customizable to whatever look you want to. If you want to change your look, you can just do it in the Huawei Health application. Just get a new watch face and there you go. But I'm in love with this blue one. It just is simply stunning. Now if you swipe down from the top, you have the usual things: settings, lock screen, drain. This is really important after swimming, after you have been in the ocean. Rinse it with fresh water and then press the drain button, which makes some sound to get the water out of the speaker. There's also Find My Phone, which helps you to find your phone just in case if you lose it somewhere. Then flashlight, screen on. This is what I mostly use for filming, which keeps the screen on for 5 minutes. So if you want to show something and you don't want that it automatically turns off, then this is the function to go. There's Do Not Disturb mode, which I use usually in the night. There's also sleep mode for that. And you can set alarms here. Notifications will actually be here. If you swipe up from the bottom, you can see here the notifications. And if you go here to the left or to the right, you can actually see here, for instance, your heart rate, your SpO2, then here your daily activity. So today I almost made my goal. Here you can see the weather based on the location. You can also see the lunar cycle, and also, of course, if you want to use sleep data. So that were basically the main functions here on the home screen, but let's go a bit deeper. You have plenty of buttons right over here. First of all, here we have the main button with a rotatable crown. So if you press that button here, you get here to the main menu where you can find all the apps and functions. And when you turn it, you can scroll here through all the functions. Of course, you can also change the appearance of the menu. We'll come to that a bit later. But there's also vibration feedback once you turn the crown, and it feels really, really good. Now on some cheap watches, the vibration feedback feels horrible, it rattles, but on the HUAWEI Watch Ultimate, it feels like really gentle and it just feels good. Now the down button, this is a customizable button. By default, it's actually set to start a workout. So basically it takes you here to the workout menu where you can quickly just scroll down to whatever workout you want to start and just start the workout. The button up right over here, this is the special button. Now this button starts here from the main menu, the expedition mode, but it's also used for diving, as I will show you a bit later. But let's talk a bit about the expedition mode. But why is this new expedition mode so cool and unique on Huawei smartwatches? So let me give you an example. Just imagine you're somewhere outdoor in the wilderness, let's say in the desert, or you're hiking on a mountain, or you're just like urban exploring in a forest. Now if you get lost, it's very difficult to navigate back because maybe you don't have internet connection, you cannot access maps, or also even if you have internet connection, it's maybe difficult because there are no roads, so it doesn't really tell you where to go. But then the HUAWEI Watch Ultimate has the expedition mode, which comes in really, really handy because it uses the GPS of the watch only to track your whole trip, but also to show you how to get back. And there are many cool things in there. I'll just go through it so you can have a closer look. Once you start at the expedition mode, it will start tracking everything. It will just track the distance traveled, the average speed. It will show you the time, the battery life. It will also show you warnings, for instance, if there are storm warnings. And the coolest thing is that you can set your own markers. Now you can use that to make a route, so basically waypoints, but also you can use that feature, for instance, if you see something in the wilderness, like a nice spot you want to remember, then you can also mark this on the road, which is really, really cool. And you don't need to take your phone. All that can be done on the watch because it has GPS already built in. It will also show you the altitude, so all the sensors are working. It will track your heart rate, there are warnings for high heart rate. It will track your SpO2, so all your vitals. It will show you the duration. Then also here you have the compass to navigate yourself around. And here you can see tools, so we have SpO2, you can use the flashlight, you can even go back to the settings, there's the air pressure sensor as well. And if you press here the expedition button again, it changes the display mode. Maybe you remember that from older cars, mostly they had orange speedometers, which is nicer for the eyes. And I've also tested it out in the night. Having the display like this and even dim it a little bit is really much more convenient than having this white bright thing just directly in your face. And once you're done with exploring, you can see the expedition records directly on your watch, or you can also of course see some more data in the Huawei Health application. For instance, you can see the route tracked, steps, how long, how far, the altitude, average speed and stuff like this. And also you can share all those records in the Huawei Health application and check it. And of course the expedition mode has also some customization. There will be more customization, of course. Battery, the storm warning I talked about, record at night and dim the screen after sunset automatically and stuff like this. So it's a really cool mode for exploring in the wilderness, off-road, off the streets, and this is something that's really unique on the Huawei Watch Ultimate. But now let's have a closer look at all the other features. As the Huawei Watch Ultimate is waterproof up to 100 meters, probably the most interesting thing are the new diving modes. Of course, there are many workout modes, so over 100 workouts can be tracked with this watch, but diving is probably the most interesting thing right now. Now, as you can see, you have recreational dive, you have free dive, technical diving and scuba diving right over here. So let's have a closer look. Now, recreational dive, as you can see, you can set many things. So you can set which gas you're using, so normal air, nitrox or whatever. So I'm really not an expert in diving, I'll just show you the features around here. You can also see here, for instance, difficulty level, you can set the max PO2, then also the safety stop duration, you can set everything that customizable so you get the correct notifications. And also for the notifications you can choose between should there be only a sound or sound and vibration, and it's really strong and also a very loud sound, which I can imagine you can also properly hear underwater. Then you can also choose here between seawater diving, freshwater diving, or even you can set the custom density of the water right over here. So this is really crazy. I think this has so many diving features in there, never seen that on a smartwatch. Now here we also have free diving, as you can see, so you can also choose it between seawater, freshwater, and set here the custom water density. Then we have technical diving right over here. So here we also have the things like you can set gas and something like that, gas concentration. So I'm really not an expert on all those things. I will just swipe through it so you can have a closer look. If you're into diving, also leave me a comment down below what you think about that. I'm really curious about feedback. Pressure limits, bottom depth, and here also once again the notification methods. And maybe let's just start some dive so you can actually see how you use the smartwatch underwater. So we'll just choose here seawater and press the down button to start the diving mode. Now, as you can see, you get a warning already in the beginning. The battery is estimated to last a certain amount of time in the diving mode. So just before the dive that you know, okay, hey, maybe I should charge my watch before the dive. You can see all the important data right over here before, the gas you're using, the depth right now, the PO2, NDL, the dive time. And in order to go to the next screen, because underwater, of course, the touch screen is not working, you have to navigate with the buttons. So if you press the down button, it goes here to the next screen, as you can see. Here also you have the compass underwater to navigate. Here also you can see, for instance, you can use the stopwatch. If you press the button here, it activates the stopwatch. If you press it again, so you can also, for instance, for stops in between or whatever you need to, you can use the stopwatch. And if you press this button right over here, you can reset things like the average depth and also some other features. All right, this is the diving mode. In order to exit it, you press and hold the top button. So this is also some safety feature that you cannot end it on the touch screen. So you really have to press and hold in order to get out of the diving mode. All right, so there we go. And yeah, last but not least, there's also scuba diving, as you can see. You also have things here for that, and also diving tools like calculation tools to calculate the NDL, and also there are some breathing exercises, breathing tests. So it's really crazy what features you have inside of the smartwatch. As mentioned before, I'm not really into diving, so if you can get me some feedback on that, if that's really everything you need or if that's even too much, I would be happy to get some more information on that. Alright, that's regarding the workouts, and I was using it mostly for cycling and exploring outside, and for that this smartwatch is really amazing. Alright, that have been the workouts and the new diving modes. Then of course you can check out the workout records on the watch, but also there's more data in the Huawei Health application and it's easier to check it out. Then workout status also here, lactate thresholds, heart rate, ECG. So basically those features we already know from previous HUAWEI watches. There's also arterial stiffness detection, SpO2 monitoring, so constantly skin temperature monitoring, also some advice for healthy living. You can see your activity records. You can also check all the data in the HUAWEI Health application, sleep data, stress monitoring. There are some breathing exercises. Of course, the usual smartwatch features, like there's a call log, all the notifications can be set up in the HUAWEI Health application. You can even block apps from notifications if you don't want to have them on the watch. You can have your contacts here. You can even copy music to the smartwatch, so you don't need to take your smartphone out, for instance, for running, where it's not really nice to run with a smartphone in the pants. There's a remote shutter for the camera, which can be really useful sometimes. Air pressure sensor, which is one of the coolest things for hiking, so this is really a nice feature on the watch. There's also the compass for navigating. This is also a really useful feature and really nice to have on an outdoor watch. Then notifications, as I've told you before, weather. You can of course also set up the wallet, and cards can be added in the HUAWEI Health application for paying. There's a stopwatch, timer, you can have alarms. This really helps me to wake up in the morning because the vibration is quite strong and this really gets me up in the morning. We have flashlight, find the phone, settings, AI voice assistant, and here it usually stops, and then there are applications you can install yourself from the HUAWEI Health application. There's for instance pedal maps you can install, so the calculator. There's also eSound, which I use sometimes to stream music, really nice application, FM radio. And yeah, here also we have diving again, so this is basically a shortcut for diving, and also here a shortcut for the expedition mode. But all of that you can also access through the buttons on the watch, so it really depends how you want to use that. And something that is really cool is that you can connect Bluetooth headphones to the watch. So I'm currently using the HUAWEI FreeBuds 5 and they have really outstanding sound quality and noise cancellation, and there will be an extra video about the HUAWEI FreeBuds 5 soon, so stay tuned. And we also have here watch face, so as I've told you before, you can customize that, and if you don't want to use the always on display, it can be turned off. You can also choose if you want to raise to show the always on display, or directly raise to actually show the watch and get to the menu. Then also there are custom cards, like as we know already, display and brightness. The display is really beautiful and bright, and you can adjust the brightness or auto brightness here in the display and brightness settings. Also, of course, sound and vibration. You can set a different ringtone. You can turn off on or off the workout broadcasts, and you can also adjust the vibration feedback. I usually keep it on strong also for the alarms, but also there's a softer one which is a bit more gentle if you want to. Alright, you can set the pin, there's a permission manager, there's also the smart assistant, so the AI voice assistant, which has been really improved, and you can turn it on or off here. You can also customize notifications. The down button here can also be customized, so either it can be used to start a workout. If you use it a lot for diving, you can set it to diving, expedition, or any other app you use most, so that's just for your convenience. Alright guys, so as you see, there are so many features on the smartwatch. It's really crazy to talk about all of them in one video, so I was trying to go quickly through that to show you what features the smartwatch has. If you want to have more information on some of the features, you can also maybe check out my other videos where I have explained some of the features a little bit more in depth. Well guys, it's now time to talk about the tracking, how it really works in real life scenarios, and also about the HUAWEI Health application. So let's have a closer look. For sure, you can check out the workout records on your watch if you want to. So for you guys, I went cycling to test out the watch and also the GPS. And I just noticed that the GPS works really good. So it tracks the route very precisely. Now there's also a little piece through a forest, and the HUAWEI Watch Ultimate didn't lose the signal. Some cheaper smartwatches struggle with the signal there, but on the HUAWEI Watch Ultimate it was really good. So it also tracks the speed, as you can see, average speed, top speed, and the altitude, which is pretty cool. So you can see the ascent, descent, everything here in the statistics. It tracks also the heart rate all of the time, as you can see, heart rate zones, training effect, so many things. This is what you can see on the watch, but you can see much more data in the HUAWEI Health application. Well guys, if you're familiar with Huawei Health, you can see in the latest version right over here that there are already some design changes, and something that's pretty cool is that new overview here, which looks pretty cool. If you tap it, you can actually see the days and a little preview if you have reached your activity goal, and yeah, nice animations. And Huawei is improving Huawei Health really frequently. There are plenty of updates, so it's really cool to see how they improve the user experience. Now, if we have a closer look at the exercise records right over here, then you can see this is the outdoor cycle, which I've shown you on the watch. And what's pretty cool in Huawei Health is the dynamic tracking. Now, dynamic tracking just uses all the data from the watch and maps here in Huawei Health to display an animated route. And it shows you also milestones, or where something happened, like where you reached your top speed, or where you had a higher heart rate, or the highest heart rate, as you can see. And the GPS tracking, to be honest, it works really, really well. So here is a little bit a route through a forest, but as you can see, the tracking was really fine. I took the same way also back, and as you can see, it shows the same way. So GPS tracking seems to be pretty accurate, and you can see all your data here, and even this nice animation you can share to social media, because you know many people just like to share their workouts. You have also done more analytics about your speed, different charts about the heart rate exactly, as you can see when you had high heart rate, when you had low heart rate, how many minutes you were in extreme zones or in fat burning. And there are so many things, sometimes I even think there are too many things in there. But if you're really interested into seeing your training, analyzing your training, then all this data can be really helpful, and especially also the recovery time is something that's really cool to see. Then we talked about the expedition mode, and I want to show you that as well. Now it's basically the same thing, so you can see your route here, you can also see some charts here and some details. And here, if you zoom in, you can see little dots right over here, and that are basically the markers which you did set on the watch. So basically, I set some markers just to try it out, and it works really well. Between the markers, it will actually draw a straight line. So this is for open field navigating, and to be honest, it works pretty good. And it's also really nice because on those markers, I did them here on some intersections and something like this to test it out, and it works really well. So with those markers, you can really mark things on the map afterwards, where you, for instance, found something or some interesting places you want maybe to revisit on your next exploration. And also here you can customize your watch faces, as I've told you before. You can just copy music to the watch, and there's also the Huawei app gallery, where you can install some more applications onto your smartwatch, like also eSound. And Huawei is also pushing new apps into the Huawei app gallery, so you can expect some more apps for your smartwatch in the future as well. Alright, that's basically it, and yeah, let's come to my final conclusion. Alright guys, so we're now here at the end of this review, and the Huawei Watch Ultimate was for me the biggest surprise in the smartwatch sector this year, and also the biggest surprise in terms of Huawei products, because this watch is a real smartwatch killer. So overall, this smartwatch is really great, as it combines a lot of high-end features that you find in competitors like the Apple Watch Ultra, but on the Apple Watch Ultra the price tag is higher and the battery life is much lower. So on the Huawei Watch Ultimate you have up to 14 days of battery life, and this is really what makes me always come back to Huawei smartwatches, because I don't have to recharge every day. It's a watch where I can really just go on a camping trip over the weekend, and you know, you charge it at home and you come back and you still have charge, and you don't need to bring your charger for the trip. So this is really one of the most amazing features. Other than that, we know that Huawei is really industry leading with their sensors, like the Huawei TrueScene 5.0 Plus, which really includes a lot of tracking capabilities in this high-end luxury smartwatch. But even though it's a high-end luxury smartwatch, it comes really at a quite reasonable price tag. So let me know your opinion down below in the comments, and as always, you can find more information to all the offers in your different countries down below in the description. So make sure to check it out. Also, the models, as I've told you before, it varies depending on the country. So check out the links down below, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. As always guys, I'm Steven from Tech Magnet, and I'm signing out. And bye!